What if reality isn't just a fixed, external machine but a fluid tapestry woven by your own mind? What if an ancient text quietly holds the key to understanding and reshaping this hidden architecture? The KYBALION, rooted in Hermetic philosophy, claims exactly that. Your consciousness isn't a spectator, it's a creative force. Yet mainstream thought reduces life to random chance, dismissing centuries of Hermetic wisdom as superstition. But the moment you peek behind that curtain, everything shifts. In these pages, we'll pull from the timeless insights of the KYBALION to show how your mental alchemy quietly sculpts your experiences. Stay receptive, because once you see reality's blueprint in action, you can't unsee it. The world you were sold from early on, you were taught the world was rigid and external, driven by cold logic. School hammered in the idea that everything is physical cause and effect, with no deeper layer beneath appearances. Whatever can't be measured or graphed was labeled unreal. Over time, you learn to trust only what your five senses reported. But what if that model was incomplete? Maybe, just maybe, there's an invisible thread of mind pulsing underneath matter. Hermetic teachings propose that all is mind, that consciousness underlies and shapes the structure of reality. Instead of being powerless observers, we become active participants, co-creating the events and synchronicities that color our lives. Mainstream science laughs at the notion of mind influencing matter. But dive into the works of certain visionary thinkers, people who questioned rigid materialism, and you find recurring threads: the power of thought, the subtle interplay between observer and observed, the intangible connection uniting all phenomena. The KYBALION sits at the heart of this conversation, offering 7 core Hermetic principles that reveal how your thoughts operate at the root of reality. Echoes of a lost understanding. Hermetic knowledge isn't new. It echoes from ancient Egypt through medieval alchemists and Renaissance philosophers, whispering that the physical realm you see is just the outer shell. Hidden within is a grand mental tapestry, shaped by energies and frequencies your rational mind often discards. Down the centuries, these insights trickled into secret societies, esoteric circles, and the pages of the KYBALION. Yet in modern times, society has minimized them, labeling them archaic relics or mystical fluff. Science claims the cosmos is indifferent, an accidental byproduct of random forces. Meanwhile, Hermetic thought insists the cosmos is a living mind, and you, by extension, are a spark of that mind, capable of reweaving the patterns of your life. Look closely. Civilizations across the globe recognized that mind and matter are never truly separate. Indigenous healers, Sufi mystics, East Asian philosophers, all taught forms of mental alchemy. It's no coincidence. There's a universal thread: your awareness shapes your environment, and your environment echoes back, forming a continuous feedback loop. If the illusions of random chance fall away, you begin to see meaningful patterns bridging your internal states and external events. The war on inner realms. Why has this knowledge been neglected, or even suppressed? Consider how a population that believes they are mere cogs in a random universe can be more easily directed. If your thoughts are irrelevant, you'll rely on external authorities to define your future. You'll doubt your own inner nudges, ignoring the subtle clues that the KYBALION says are crucial to shaping your destiny. In the age of scientific materialism, intangible concepts like mental alchemy got swept under the rug. Education taught formulaic, linear thinking, refusing to entertain the notion that thought could reorder outcomes. The path to success was memorization, obedience, and external validation, never the cultivation of your innate mental force. Yet if everyone realized they hold a hidden mental power, that they can tilt probabilities and magnetize opportunities through thought and emotion, the entire structure of control might wobble. Because a mind attuned to universal laws doesn't wait passively. It co-directs. And that's a paradigm shift no top-down system particularly desires. The hidden laws beneath the surface. The KYBALION distills Hermetic teachings into 7 guiding principles, but one stands out as the foundation for mental alchemy: the all is mind, the universe is mental. This suggests that matter, energy, and form rest upon a vast field of consciousness. By adjusting your mental vibrations, you effectively reshape how life unfolds. If you're constantly steeped in pessimism and victimhood, you tune into a frequency that draws more of the same. Shift your mindset to possibility and empowerment, and fresh vistas open up. Hermetic law says it's no coincidence, it's alignment. From the outside, it looks like a string of lucky breaks. From the inside, it's you practicing mental alchemy, moving from negative to positive, from stagnation to flow. Another principle, polarity, states that everything is dual, yet extremes are just varying degrees on a single continuum. Think of love and hate, both emotional energies, differing only in vibration. Applying mental alchemy means acknowledging you can transform one mental state into another by recognizing they are not absolute opposites, but points on the same scale. If you're stuck in fear, you can transmute it upward toward courage, because fear and courage share the same continuum of inner energy. The master key of the mind Hermetic mental alchemy isn't about summoning lightning bolts from the sky or forging gold from lead in a physical lab. Rather, it's about refining your inner laboratory, the realm of thought, belief, and emotion. By harnessing your mind's creative power, you transform your external reality. Over and over, you see that the outer is a reflection of the inner. What does this look like in practice? Picture someone constantly worried about finances. They obsess over potential losses, fear bills, and see every cost as a threat. Hermetic law implies that their mental state consistently broadcasts scarcity vibes, attracting more financial obstacles or missed opportunities. Meanwhile, a person who deliberately cultivates trust, sees money as a flow, and works in gratitude for each resource begins to magnetize supportive circumstances, unexpected checks, job offers, or beneficial partnerships. Yes, action in the material world still matters. But your mental posture sets the stage for which actions flourish and which wither. If you hold an unwavering image of success, while your emotional undertone is one of genuine positivity, you're likely to see synchronicities favor your path. Hermetic mental alchemy is the art of guiding that synergy between thought energy and the cosmic tapestry around you. Why most people miss the hidden alchemy modern society thrives on immediate, tangible results. When told that intangible forces shape outcomes, many shrug it off as fantasy. That's precisely the conditioning Hermeticism warns about, training you to dismiss the intangible. Technology has advanced, but spiritual insight? Often left in the dust. We're so fixated on data and physical metrics that we forget the intangible software behind the hardware of life. Additionally, mental alchemy requires consistent self-awareness. If you're bombarded by negativity from media, peer pressure, or your own traumas, it's easy to slip back into old mental grooves. Changing your mental frequency demands discipline, observing each self-defeating thought, transmuting it into a constructive one, and reinforcing that shift until it becomes second nature. It's no wonder that truly using the KYBALION's teaching sets you apart. People may label you weird, naive, or unscientific. Yet ironically, quantum theory and consciousness research keep hinting that the observer, you, and the observed, your life, are enmeshed. The line between subject and object is blurrier than classical science ever admitted. Hermeticism recognized that centuries ago, urging us to treat mind as the core fabric of reality. Hermetic tools for shaping reality mental imaging, this method involves constructing a clear mental picture of what you intend to create or experience. Instead of daydreaming aimlessly, you engage your senses. How does your desired outcome look, smell, sound, and feel? The more vibrant and immersive the image, the more powerfully it imprints upon the mental plane. Hermetic thought suggests your focused image draws cosmic energies to that blueprint, accelerating its manifestation. Emotional alignment, emotions fuel your mental images. If you visualize success but internally feel dread or disbelief, you send conflicting signals. Hermetic alchemy says you must unify thought and emotion so they resonate in harmony. Joy, gratitude, and anticipation raise your frequency, aligning you with beneficial currents. If negative emotions crop up, treat them as raw material for transmutation, reminding yourself that fear and hope are on the same continuum, and you can shift the dial upward. Affirmations and mantras, you're constantly affirming something, whether you realize it or not. If your daily self-talk is "I'm unlucky," you reinforce that reality. By crafting deliberate affirmations, "opportunities flow to me effortlessly," you rewrite your mental code. Combined with rhythmic repetition, these phrases settle into the subconscious, shaping your vibe. Over time, consistent affirmations, combined with belief, can tangibly shift outcomes. Hermetic alchemy says that like attracts like, so ensure your internal script matches the external experiences you desire. The warping of the Hermetic message many assume the KYBALION preaches wishful thinking. In truth, it teaches responsibility. If your mental and emotional states shape experiences, that means you are accountable for what you cultivate. This is the opposite of passively hoping for miracles. Instead, you act as a conscious steward of your mind, consciously engineering the flows of your daily life. Unfortunately, some commercial movements have oversimplified these teachings, framing them as just visualize money, and it appears, ignoring deeper personal growth or service to a larger good. Authentic Hermeticism emphasizes balance. Your personal will must align with universal principles like rhythm, polarity, and cause and effect. That synergy ensures you're not just conjuring illusions for selfish ends, but genuinely evolving in harmony with cosmic law. When mental alchemy is taught ethically, it doesn't encourage escapism or denial. It fosters a radical awareness that your state of mind co-determines the shape of your journey. In short, it's about becoming a co-creator who respects both personal aspirations and collective well-being. Applying mental alchemy day-to-day morning priming, right after waking, your mind is in a receptive state. Spend a few minutes focusing on key intentions or visualizing a fulfilling day. Feel the positive emotions as if they're already real. This morning practice sets your mental tone, ensuring you carry aligned energy into your interactions and tasks. Tracking patterns, journal your experiences to see how mental states correlate with external shifts. If you notice that on days you're anxious, everything from traffic jams to awkward emails intensifies, that's a clue. If you see that calm clarity draws helpful allies or sudden insights, that's also data. Over time, you'll confirm Hermetic law isn't just mystical talk but an active principle. Respecting cycles, Hermeticism teaches that everything moves in cycles, ebb and flow, day and night, emotional highs and lows. Instead of resisting the down cycles, use them for rest, reflection, or reorganization. Ride the up cycles to push forward with projects and expansions. By harmonizing with universal rhythms rather than fighting them, your productivity and well-being rise. Real-world actions, mental alchemy doesn't negate physical effort or planning. Instead, it supercharges them. Set your vision, prime your emotions, then engage in the tangible steps needed. Because your mind is aligned, you'll spot synchronicities or fresh angles you'd otherwise miss. The synergy between mental intention and real-world action is where the magic truly flourishes. The internal gatekeepers, doubt and fear, are the two primary gatekeepers blocking mastery of the KYBALION's lessons. Doubt whispers, "This can't be real, life is random." Fear says, "If you try to reshape reality and fail, you'll be humiliated." Recognizing these voices is half the battle. You can't banish them by force, but you can transmute them by acknowledging they're just energies on a continuum. Fear, for example, can be lifted toward cautious optimism or courage. Doubt can morph into curiosity. This is alchemical in nature, transforming one emotional metal into a higher metal using the furnace of awareness. A life shaped by the hidden laws. As you deepen your understanding, you'll notice tangible changes. Perhaps you consistently attract new opportunities aligning with your passions. Maybe your relationships become more harmonious, or creative projects flow with minimal friction. Even challenges become more meaningful, serving as catalysts for growth rather than mere obstacles. Yet the true hallmark is an expanded sense of wonder. You start glimpsing that reality isn't a static realm of rigid matter, but a living interplay of thought, emotion, and spirit. Each day feels pregnant with possibility, each moment a chance to refine your mental energy. In short, life becomes an ongoing conversation between you and the universe. Final integration now. The question, what will you do with this knowledge? It's easy to read about Hermetic laws, nod your head, and continue living as before. But genuine mastery demands you experiment. Focus on your mental states intentionally for a week, track the shifts, and see if your experiences transform. If they do, you have your proof. The KYBALION's insights aren't empty words, but living principles. Cynics might sneer that this is all a grand illusion. But illusions can be powerful, shaping your subjective reality and, by extension, the events you draw in. Whether you call it mental projection, universal resonance, or hermetic mental alchemy, the effect remains the same: your inner world casts ripples that shape the outer world. Embrace this, and you take back the power to design your destiny. Ignore it, and you remain at the mercy of forces you refuse to see. The final choice lies with you. Will you continue clinging to the notion that life just happens to you? Or will you harness the mental alchemy that KYBALION describes, stepping into the role of co-creator? There's no single right path. But if the call of deeper reality resonates, now is your moment to pick up that invisible thread and start weaving a new pattern, one in which your mind and the cosmic mind flow in unison. Revisiting the inner alchemy, you've discovered that the KYBALION isn't just a dusty relic or an abstract set of axioms, it's a guide to harnessing the creative power of the mind. You've seen how your inner world influences outer circumstances, and how subtle shifts in thought, emotion, and belief can ripple out to shape life events. Yet integrating these principles is rarely a one-time decision. It's an ongoing process of observation, experimentation, and refinement. One reason so many people abandon these teachings is they expect immediate, dramatic miracles without adjusting their long-entrenched mental habits. When results don't erupt instantly, disappointment sets in. But in reality, mental alchemy is like learning a new language. You practice daily, and with each small success, your proficiency grows. The more consistently you apply Hermetic wisdom, the more your life begins to reflect its underlying harmony. At times, you may slip into old mindsets, fear, negativity, or doubt. That's normal. The point is not to punish yourself for missteps, but to gently guide your mental frequency back toward the vibrations you want to sustain. Think of it as tuning an instrument. Small adjustments keep you on pitch. Over months or years, you'll look back and realize just how fluid your circumstances and opportunities became when you held your alignment. The subconscious tapestry. Much of mental alchemy revolves around bridging the gap between your conscious intentions and your subconscious patterns. You can proclaim any affirmation with passion, but if your subconscious holds contradictory beliefs, like "I'm unworthy" or "I can't succeed," you'll experience internal friction. So part of your Hermetic practice involves illuminating those hidden beliefs, gently transforming them into supportive convictions that match your conscious goals. Pay attention to subtle emotional cues, especially when you're trying to manifest or direct your reality. If you say, "I attract abundance with ease," but a knot of anxiety clenches your stomach, that knot reveals a subconscious doubt. This is good news. Once you sense it, you can transmute it. You might explore journaling, self-reflection, or guided meditations aimed at clearing old narratives. By releasing those tangled, fear-based scripts, you empower your subconscious to collaborate with your conscious direction rather than undermine it. Remember, the subconscious doesn't judge or question, it implements the emotional and mental tone you consistently feed it. If you saturate it with fear, it churns out scenarios that confirm that fear. If you nourish it with clarity and expectation of success, it orchestrates opportunities aligned with that vision. The transmutation of emotional states. Polarity is one of the KYBALION's core principles. Everything is dual, but extremes are different degrees of the same essence. This is especially transformative when dealing with emotions. Anger and empathy, for instance, dwell on the same continuum. Depression and hope share a line. You simply shift your viewpoint along that scale. In practical terms, if you're gripped by anxiety, rather than denying it, recognize it as the lower end of a particular emotional continuum. The Hermetic approach is to gently move that energy up the scale. Breathe into the feeling. Acknowledge it, then intentionally guide yourself toward a more balanced vantage. This might involve thinking of a time you felt safe, or conjuring up gratitude for what is going well. You're not faking positivity, you're transmuting the emotional frequency from fear-laden to something calmer, more resourceful. Over time, this becomes second nature. Instead of being a leaf tossed by emotional storms, you realize you can pivot your internal dial. That doesn't mean ignoring genuine problems in the outer world, but approaching them from a vantage of centeredness and possibility, rather than panic or defeat. Working with mental gender. Another Hermetic concept less discussed is the principle of mental gender. Hermeticism posits that within each mind, there exists both a masculine and feminine component, sometimes called the conscious intellect, masculine, and the subconscious receptive, feminine. The synergy between these two aspects fuels creativity and manifestation. Think of it like this: your active, directive thoughts are the masculine spark, while your subconscious, imaginative capacity is the feminine womb. When these two cooperate, results flow smoothly. If your conscious mind tries to assert a direction while the subconscious remains unpersuaded, the outcome is conflicted or weak. Conversely, if your subconscious teems with unchanneled emotion but lacks a guiding conscious framework, it expends energy in chaotic or unfocused ways. Balancing mental gender means letting your intellectual mind propose clear visions and goals, then allowing the subconscious to receive and gestate those ideas in an atmosphere of trust and emotional harmony. The end result is mental alchemy that feels organic, merging clarity of direction with depth of feeling. The power of rhythm and cause and effect. Hermetic teachings also highlight rhythm and cause and effect. Rhythm acknowledges that life moves in waves and cycles, periods of expansion and contraction, activity and rest, success and setback. Most people resist the downtimes, trying to maintain perpetual highs. But if you embrace the cyclical nature, you see each ebb as an opportunity for introspection, healing, or planning. The next flow arrives without as much friction, because you haven't exhausted yourself fighting the universal pendulum swing. Cause and effect underscores that no event arises without a cause. In mental terms, your repeated thoughts and beliefs act as causes, with your life experiences as their effects. Recognizing this principle is both liberating and sobering. You see that your mental seeds eventually bloom in the outer world, so you start planting seeds aligned with what you truly want. When you combine these concepts, you gain an agile perspective, trusting the cyclical wave you're on while taking responsibility for how your mental output influences future outcomes. You're no longer a victim of random fate, but a mindful co-creator navigating cosmic rhythms. Handling skepticism, yours and others, no matter how convinced you become, you may still find yourself meeting people who dismiss these ideas. Some are deeply entrenched in materialist views, others might be open but remain cautious. The Hermetic approach is not to argue or proselytize. Instead, you embody the teachings. Let your life exemplify the calm confidence and creative potential that mental alchemy unlocks. If a friend questions how mere thoughts can shift external reality, you can gently share your experiences, coincidences that appeared after you set clear intentions, emotional healing that led to improved relationships, or the synergy that blossomed when you changed your attitude. But you needn't force them to adopt your perspective. Hermetic wisdom often resonates best when people are ready. Internally, you may face your own skeptic, that part of you trained to doubt intangible mechanisms. It's okay. Let that skepticism encourage you to gather evidence from lived experience. Keep track of the subtle ways your mental shifts correlate with changes in environment or personal luck. Over time, you may accumulate enough synchronicities or outcomes that doubt lessens, replaced by a quiet certainty grounded in personal proof. Synchronicities as feedback loops. One of the most direct signals that you're harmonizing with mental alchemy is an uptick in synchronicities. These are meaningful coincidences too precise to be random. They act like cosmic winks, reminding you that your internal frequency is bridging seamlessly with external events. Some synchronicities are small, like hearing a phrase repeated by different people in the same day. Others can be life-changing, meeting a mentor right when you decide to pivot your career, or stumbling on an obscure resource that answers a burning question. While skeptics attribute this to selective attention, Hermetic philosophy frames it as part of the universal mind's response to your conscious and subconscious signals. If you want to strengthen these feedback loops, adopt a receptive stance. When a synchronicity crops up, pause and reflect: what was I thinking or feeling right before this? What question or intention did I set recently? The more you cultivate an ongoing dialogue with these coincidences, the more frequently they appear. It's as if you're tuning a cosmic radio to the station labeled affirmation, receiving consistent pings that you're on track. Alchemy in relationships and community. Mental alchemy doesn't stop at personal ambitions. Relationships are prime territory for Hermetic transformation. Typically, conflicts arise when individuals project negative assumptions or unconscious fears onto each other. By practicing emotional transmutation, shifting frustration to empathy or blame to understanding, you create a new energetic dynamic that often soothes tensions. Similarly, if your partner or friend mirrors an aspect of your shadow, you can approach the friction with hermetic curiosity. What unhealed part of me is reacting here? Instead of fueling discord, you alchemize the friction into deeper connection. Over time, you become the emotional anchor, that mindful alchemist who sets a calmer, more harmonious tone in group settings. On a larger scale, some Hermetic thinkers suggest that entire communities can unify their mental frequencies to co-create beneficial outcomes, like group meditations for peace or collective prayers for healing. Though results vary, participants often report unexpected improvements in local or global events, hinting at the possibility that group mental alchemy magnifies individual effects. In any case, focusing on positivity as a collective is rarely wasted effort, even if mainstream data can't easily measure it. Beyond manifestation, spiritual growth. While many come to the KYBALION drawn by the idea of manifesting wealth, health, or romance, the deeper gift is spiritual evolution. Manifestation can become an entry point. You realize your thoughts shape outcomes, so you try to manifest improvements. But once you see the system in action, you might ask, what's my higher purpose? Or how can I serve a greater good while aligning with cosmic flow? Hermetic teachings emphasize self-realization and unity with the all. The more you refine your mental states, the more glimpses you catch of an underlying intelligence that suffuses reality. A humility arises as you sense you're both a creator and a participant in something infinitely vast. This humility is not weakness, it's the recognition that your personal wave is part of an infinite ocean. Balancing your personal desires with universal harmony can bring profound peace. In that sense, mental alchemy is about harnessing your creative capacity while retaining reverence for the universal mind. It's not about inflating the ego or demanding reality bend to your every whim. Rather, it's forging a partnership with a cosmic intelligence that's always humming beneath surface appearances. Your mind sets intentions, and the universe responds. The universe nudges you with synchronicities, and you adjust accordingly, a cooperative dance. Sustaining the alchemical fire. It's common to have bursts of enthusiasm. Maybe you read the KYBALION or see some quick results after shifting your mindset. Then everyday life distracts you, errands, job stress, social media. Before you know it, you're slipping into old patterns. Sustaining mental alchemy involves regular touchstones that keep you aligned. Daily reflection. Each evening, briefly review how your day felt. Did you uphold a creative, empowered mindset, or did negativity creep in? Tracking these patterns helps you course correct before drifting too far. Periodic digital detox. Quieting external noise frees mental space for higher vibrations. Even an hour offline can help you reconnect with the intangible. Fasting negativity. Consider short periods where you consciously avoid complaining, gossiping, or fear-based media. Notice how your emotional baseline and life circumstances shift when you reduce negative fuel. Creating rituals anchor intention. Lighting a candle while you focus on your top-level goals or journaling with a specific Hermetic principle in mind can solidify your mental posture. Over time, these small symbolic acts weave potent results. Ultimately, you don't have to become a hermit or adopt strange routines. Even small, consistent gestures reaffirm your dedication to shaping life from the inside out, rather than the outside in. Navigating setbacks and plateaus. No journey is without hiccups. You might face a personal crisis, health scare, job loss, or relationship upheaval. It's tempting to think, if mental alchemy works, why did this happen to me? Hermetic wisdom urges a deeper question: how can you transmute this challenge into growth? Sometimes, adversity arises from old mental patterns still unraveling. Other times, it's an opportunity to refine your perspective. The KYBALION teaches that adversity can be your greatest teacher if you remain aware enough to glean the lesson. By refusing victimhood and seeking potential transformation, you pivot from despair to empowerment. Each crisis thus becomes raw material for advanced alchemy, pushing you to a more expansive version of yourself. Plateaus can also occur. You reach a certain comfort zone in life, see some success or serenity, then stagnate because you stop stretching. The universal mind nudges expansion. Growth is infinite. So if you sense restlessness or a lack of challenge, that might be an invitation to dream bigger. Whether that means new creative projects, philanthropic endeavors, or deeper spiritual exploration, the principle remains: keep evolving. Stagnation is just another form of energy waiting for transmutation. The mental alchemist's responsibility power, in any form, entails responsibility. If you realize your mindset influences outcomes, you hold a duty to use that power ethically. The Hermetic principle of cause and effect reminds us that every cause we set in motion returns an effect to us and ripples outward. Acting from destructive or selfish motives can boomerang negatively, or sow chaos in the shared field of consciousness. Hence, the most profound mental alchemists often develop compassion and a sense of interconnectedness. They grasp that to harm another is to harm the shared mind. They refine their intentions not just for personal gain, but in harmony with a broader cosmic or communal well-being. This does not mean denying personal desires, but aligning them with a sense of universal synergy. When you approach mental alchemy with integrity, wishing well for yourself and others, you amplify your constructive influence. People around you may sense a shift in your aura, trusting you more. Opportunities that benefit many can more easily flow your way. Your life, in turn, becomes a beacon, quietly demonstrating that harnessing the mind is not an ego trip but a path of mutual uplift. You've taken a deep dive into Hermetic mental alchemy as revealed in the KYBALION's timeless principles. You've uncovered how reality, in many ways, reflects your internal states, how shifting your thoughts and emotions can reshape the experiences you draw in. You've learned about balancing the masculine and feminine aspects of mind, honoring cosmic rhythms, and applying your newfound awareness to everyday challenges. At its heart, the KYBALION teaches that the universe is mental, that all is mind. This isn't a mere philosophical statement, it's a living proposition you can test in your own life. Each time you transmute a negative mood into a constructive emotion, each time you visualize a goal and watch events align, each time a small coincidence leads you to a meaningful opportunity, you verify the Hermetic laws in action. Your next step is simple yet profound: practice. Don't let your momentum stall at intellectual interest. Experiment with daily alignment, mental imaging, or emotional transmutation. Track your progress. Embrace the synchronicities that emerge. And if adversity arises, lean on the principle of polarity, reminding yourself you can shift the scale from fear to hope, from grief to deeper understanding. Yes, the world can appear chaotic. But beneath the surface hums an elegant design, waiting for your conscious collaboration. That design is the hidden mental alchemy shaping life. By stepping into it with awareness, you don't just improve your personal reality, you also contribute a more coherent, uplifting vibration to the collective field. So the question stands: will you settle for the old narrative that life is random, or will you embody the KYBALION's invitation to become an alchemist of mind and matter? This script has laid out the roadmap. The door is wide open. Beyond it lies a realm where your mental posture co-creates outcomes, where chance is revealed as orchestrated opportunity, and where your deeper self merges with the universal mind in a dance of infinite possibility. You hold the key. Turn it, and watch as the hidden mental alchemy quietly, yet profoundly, transforms your life.